Hey everybody, we have a really fun build breakdown today because this was 6 figures at the shop. That's parts, labor, tax, and everything. Broke the 6-figure mark and came out insane. So I have 5 pages of parts listed out here. I'm gonna break down everything that we did and include the installed total out the door with parts, tax, the whole 9 yards. I wanna preface this by saying, no job here at Mountain Yotas is too big or too small. We sell just tires to you if you want tires. We can do buggy builds, full-blown overlanders, whatever you want. So we like to showcase kind of like the big crazy stuff. Keep in mind any of this stuff is applicable, but if you just need something small, super happy to help you and we'll treat you right along the way too. Let's jump in now. We're gonna start off with the crown jewel, guys. It's 74 weld portals. These also got the double shear option, so the steering is gonna be extra strong because you have another place that it mounts on the outer tie rod. Portals are gonna run you $20,000. The double shear kit's another $600. We have freight on there, and the installation time out the door with tax is $25,491 for these portals. We have a ton of portal content on the channel. If you don't know what they are, look it up, but you're getting gear reduction at the hub and you're also getting a ton of ground clearance. They're made in America. 74 weld is the best option for portals. To me, it's the best mod you can make if you're going to be off-roading. On the suspension, we have Fox Performance Elite 2.5 shocks in the front and the rear. We also have the billet upper control arms from Icon with the Delta joints. And we have an Icon RXT leaf pack in the rear with an installation and an alignment. Out the door total for this, we've got $7,810. On those upper control arms on the suspension, we also did the JD Fab Gusset kit. This is gonna give you a lot more strength on the upper control arms. When you do portals, you're gonna wanna think about the leverage that you're adding to the truck. And it's gonna be important to think about things like this. I can't recommend doing gusseted uppers enough. So these are only $124 for the kit. We're charging 3 hours to install them. That's all fab work, and with tax, everything out the door, you're at $734 to do gussets for your uppers. Speaking of gussets, we have cam tab gussets on this. You're looking at $780 to get that done. Can't recommend cam tab gussets enough. If you're wheeling your truck, you just need it. The wheels and tires on this truck, they're awesome. These were inspired by Dakar wheels on the Toyota race team. Method came out with them. They're fully forged Beadgrip wheels, and they're made pretty much specifically for 74 weld portals. They're expensive. They're fully forged, awesome wheels. You need positive 45 so they protect those portals and also steering leverage. You want those sucked in real nice, and covering the portal box itself is important too if you're out crawling on rocks. Those wheels are $950 a piece. There's 5 on here, and around the wheels we've got Kenda Clever RTs. These are 37s. Those are $356 each, and a mountain balance on that's just gonna cost you $166 here. And out the door with tax, you're at $7,479. If you build a big heavy truck like this, especially if you have a Procharger in there too, or a Magnuson Supercharger in there, you're gonna wanna consider your stopping power, and Powerbrake is your answer. The D-line power brakes are awesome if you're not way over the top like this. It's gonna save you quite a bit of money, but with that does not come a 6-piston caliper. This is the Big Brake Kit from Powerbrakes. We have a lot of Powerbrake content here too. Search the channel if you're interested specifically in power brakes. But you are looking at $26.75 for the power brakes. We're only charging 2 hours on this install. There's a lot of things to consider on this truck, so there's large discounts on the labor throughout. That's $3,348 for the Big Brake Kit. One of the worst things from the factory on a 3rd gen Tacoma is the steering rack. They blow all the time. If you're gonna build something of this magnitude, you need to replace it. On this truck, we went with the Solo Motorsports Tundra rack conversion kit. Just the rack is gonna be $1,915, but we also got the double Clevis outer tie rod upgrade. It ties into the double shear outers. Killer upgrade there. You're not gonna have to worry about your outer tie rods breaking or bending. Those are $1,550 each, and it's a big job. That's a 10-hour conversion. A normal steering rack, OEM to OEM, same rack going in, It's a lot less than that, but this requires some fab work. It requires a lot more work to actually do the rack conversion properly, so that's 10 hours. And with tax, you're looking at $5,661 for the Solo Motorsports Tundra rack with the double shear upgrade. Now this customer had a re-gear done, but because of the 22% gear reduction at the hubs from the Portals, we had to undo the re-gear that they had done before. It's basically the same cost as a re-gear in the first place. So you are buying gears. These are $14.78. We actually do it here. A lot of people say that they do re-gears, and all they're doing is pulling the third member, sending it off, getting it done by somebody else, getting it back, acting like they did it, and slapping it in. That's cheap. You don't know who's doing your gears. You don't know if it's a beginner. This is an important thing to have done properly. And your total out the door here is going to be $3,600 for the gears. A great time to add lockers, diff lockers to your truck is during a re-gear. And this truck, of course, it has lockers. It has everything. So we have labor for wiring up the front locker and the rear locker. We're at 4 hours. Each one of those runs about $1,500 for the lockers themselves, bringing your total to $4,773 to get lockers in the front and the rear. If you don't know about diff lockers, guys, it basically makes it so both tires on each side of that differential are going to spin at 50% power no matter what. If you see people wheeling, particularly with their front end up in the air and one tire's not getting traction, well, it's sending power to the tire that's in the air. It's doing nothing for you as far as getting over an obstacle. So what a diff locker does is ensures that the tire that's actually on the ground is getting power as well. So it doesn't matter if one's up in the air, it's gonna get you up and over obstacles. Adding lockers is a huge benefit if you're off-roading, and if you pair them up with Portals, this thing's gonna wheel like a champ. You have to do some clearancing when you go to big tires, and that is true with Portals as well. In this case, we did a cab mount relocate so that his tires aren't gonna hit the cab mount on the cab side of that wheel well in the front. His kit is only $265. It's 6 hours of labor, and out the door with tax, we're looking at $1,326 for this cab mount relocate. There's a whole bunch of accessories going on here. We're gonna talk about all of them, of course. We have a Sherpa Grand Teton roof rack. We had to buy light bar mounts because there's also a Baja Designs S8 40-inch amber light bar on the top. And we also have a Baja Designs S8 20-inch amber light bar in the front bumper. And of course, those have to have some wiring harnesses and they have to be controlled somehow. We really like the Garmin power switches. This truck has 2 of them. So we use the Blaze Off-Road dual Garmin power switch ready to run kit. That is $345. Garmin, you don't have to run any wires through the firewall. It's all Bluetooth. There's a failsafe because there's buttons on the actual units under the hood too. Now we also have Baja Designs rock lights. There's 4 of them on that Sherpa roof rack. And Sherpa has these really slick handle brackets that go into the hand holes, but they hold rock lights. Super cool thing to do for some scene lighting while you're out camping. We also have some S2s, paired those up with the Cali raised ditch light mounting brackets. All that stuff I just named with the installation, wiring, the whole 9 yards. You're looking at $7,000 on the dot with tax out the door. How many times have I said out the door so far? The last video I posted, I think I said phenomenal 32 times in 23 minutes. All right, if you don't have kids and you got a dog, a really cool thing to do is a seat delete in the rear. This is a Goose gear seat delete. 2 hours to install this thing, and it's got the works. It's everything you can do to do a full seat delete, which includes the rear panels. Goose gear's extremely high quality. You are looking at $1,994 to get this done here. This truck has our signature Mountain Yotas rock sliders on it. We had Cali Rays make us some rock sliders. They are white labeled, but that's okay. We don't manufacture in mass quantities, and they have robots that weld stuff up. So we have these top plates that say Mountain Yotas. They have the TRD 3 stripes in the top plates, DOM tubing that's super strong, US steel, made in America. and they are attached directly to the frame. A lot of times people ask, what's the first mod that I should do on my vehicle? I say rock sliders all the time. It's gonna protect you from side impacts. You're never gonna damage your rocker panels when you're off-road unless you get crazy sendy or something. And you won't get door dings in parking lots either. So you can also use these as a step, which is gonna come in handy with this truck because it's big. So rock sliders, they're a must. We charged $1,600 for these. And then we also did a Retrax bed cover. This is the Powertrax Pro XR bed cover that just closes at the push of a button. Really cool stuff. It's $3,000. It's a 3-hour installation. With tax, you are out the door at $3,894 for the Retrax Powertrax XR Pro. Now the back of this truck looks pretty good. There's a whole bunch of Overlander guy stuff on there. And really, the support system for all of it is the Leitner Designs ACS forged bed rack. This is the version that works with a Retrax tonneau cover, which just looks cool. It's super functional. Leitner is a very cool company. The storyline behind the owner and the owner's dad is awesome. The owner's dad is Horst Leitner. He designed a whole bunch of mountain bike products. And Bernard is awesome too. He's just got it in his blood. He's a gifted designer and engineer. And these are simply the best bed racks on the market, period. This one is $1,650. We outfitted it with a gear pod, which is the small pod, a gear pod dual, which is the larger one on the opposite side, a hydro pod, which is a shower that you can pump by hand. We also got the Leitner Designs rooftop tent brackets. We also threw on these universal mounting plates, 2 of them, because you can mount all sorts of things to them. In this case, we have roto packs mounted to them, 2-gallon water roto packs for some spare drinking water. We have the roto packs locking mounts on there as well. And then on top, we have the Go FSR Free Spirit Recreation Evolution V2 Rooftop Tent XL. The best rooftop tent in the game, hands down. It's pitch black when the sun comes up. The tri-layer material in the walls provides excellent insulation, keeping you cool when it's hot outside and warm when it's cold outside. The tent also provides best-in-class room inside because it's a full pop. It's like this double strut design that Z's up. It's easy to open, easy to close, tons of room. You can leave your bedding in it. The mattress is awesome. Can't say enough about the Evo V2. Those are $3,900. And we also have the Shortcut River Quiver 4-banger from Riversmith on the back because this guy likes to fly fish. When I first shot this, I forgot to mention that there are some scene lights that are from KC, and there's also a 270 awning from FSR, and it also includes the awning walls. The awning room just makes like another room literally all the way around your truck. So if you're setting up camp for a couple of days, it's awesome. We've done it several times where we camped out with the 270 awning every single night when we were in Ouray and Telluride. That's the last video that was posted. You should check that out too. It's not just vlog style, it's Leo doing it, who's our videographer in-house here, and he's fantastic. With shipping, tax, installation, 6 hours to install, all that stuff I just named, it is $12,658. Now listen, this is the point in the video where some of you are going, 6 hours to install all that stuff? Oh my gosh, I could do it in 4 hours. Well, if you can do that in 4 hours, I'd like to hire you to come work here. Email info@Mountain Yotas with a resume because you are a superstar, kid. This truck has CBI bumpers on the front and the rear. They were already installed when we got the truck, but I'm gonna include pricing on that, at least a ballpark figure to give you a total number on this vehicle as it sits. And we also got a fold down table for them, as well as the upgraded billet lever on the rear. All together, guys, for the front bumper and the rear bumper to be installed, this is without lights. We already covered lights. This is without a lot of the things that we've already gone through. You're looking at about $8,000 with installation. That's a dual swing out. You can count on spending somewhere around $5,000 for a dual swing. And on the front bumper with a winch installed, you're at $3,000 easily. So we're gonna say $8,000 for that line item there. This truck got a battery upgrade. It is a single battery. If you get a really good battery in there, battery, then it's gonna cost a little bit more than a normal one. I love full throttle. This one is the Odyssey battery, and we paired it up with the SDHQ billet terminals and billet tie down with tax and everything for all that fun stuff. You're at $754. We've done more Procharger installs than anybody in the world on Toyotas, particularly Tacomas, and now we're doing 4Runners too. And this one, of course, it got a Procharger. I've talked about them a lot. We have a ton of Procharger content on this channel as well. It gives you a 40% power increase. It sounds crazy because it's a centrifugal supercharger. Kind of sounds like a turbo, kind of sounds like a turbo diesel. People are confused by it, and the people who know what it is freak out. Installed out the door for this, you're at $10,656. You can't use an aftermarket intake when you have a Procharger, so this got a factory intake and a new air cleaner box, so you're at just about $600 to do that. So that's everything. What do you think? Would you do this to your vehicle? The total on this build is $110,000. Now you're talking about portals, you're talking about steering, supercharger, big brake kit, full overland setup, out of a dream. Every single thing you can do. I didn't even talk about the wrap. You can count $5,000 for a wrap. It has almost everything. Now some considerations to make here would be what's right for you. This guy had no real budget. It was kind of open-ended. He wanted the best. He wanted this thing to be the baddest and also maintain daily driver friendliness. He's gonna be driving this thing across the country on portal axles, and he's an adventurer. He's a hunter, he's a fisherman, and he likes to go out and camp. So this build was really tailored towards him. And you know what? I think it's super weird when people make comments about how others choose to spend their money on something that brings them joy and something that brings them adventure. This thing, maybe you wouldn't spend $110,000 on upgrading a Tacoma, and that's fine. It's all about perspective. If you had $10 million in the bank, you might rethink that. If you already owned several homes free and clear and this is your 5th vehicle, you might rethink that. If you favored experiences, adventure, and getting out off-roading, bringing you deeper into the woods so you could get closer and more comfortable while you're on a 30-day hunt. If you just love awesome looking trucks and you want to drive a Tacoma that Batman would approve of, you might think differently. So be mindful of those things, but all that is to say, like, be kind. This guy is one of the coolest customers I've ever dealt with. The other thing I want to mention is that not everybody chooses to have shops do their work. They do their own work and then they get on videos like this and they comment, oh, I could do that in this amount of time, or that's a ripoff. You're clueless. If you're in this business, that's awesome, but most people in this business aren't making comments like that, and the people that are really good at this stuff, I promise they're not online talking trash about how long things take or how much people are charging for stuff. It's just weird. I don't mind if you do it here because I like getting more video exposure and comments help in the algorithm, so go ahead, but evaluate yourself. It's usually a reflection of how you feel about you more than it is how you feel about me or how you feel about our customers or how you feel about our team or like what we do for a living. Yeah, think about that. Now say something nice in the comments. No, I'm just kidding. There's a lot of positivity. There's way more positivity. Reading the comments just kind of stinks sometimes, especially when you do a build breakdown for something that is literally this cool. We take a lot of pride in what we do. This turned out incredible, and I'm stoked about this truck. If we can help you with anything Toyota off-road related, we'd be happy to help, no matter how big or small. I hope you enjoy this content, and peace.